try to extrapolate on what the Lord mean by these things. You know? Keep going. And he said unto him, Friend, how comest thou in hither not having...
Friend, you were meant to come in here because you're a brother. Because when you break the word down, friend, it goes into the word brother.
Yep.
Keep going.
It says, how comest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless.
How'd you get in here and you didn't have a wedding garment on? You don't have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding on. You have the right lineage, but you don't have the word of the Lord in you. How'd you get in here? And the man was speechless.
And then said the king to the servants, bend him hand and foot, and take him. Bind him hand and feet, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Now, who did that? The king had that done. It wasn't the servants, it's the king that had that done. And it didn't even say that he used the servants to do it. It just told him, because the king has whoever he will to his disposal. So the king used who he has set up for that. We got to remember, that may not be our job. It may be, but unless you know that through the spirit that it's for your job to cast people out or bring people in or cast your own personal judgments on who's what and whatever, you got to do what you got to do. Just bring them in. He ain't going to get rid of them. That's why you got to be long-suffering and you got to wait, till somebody goes that far. Or prove themselves that they deserve to be there, which is the key point here. Because there's people that come up and we chit-chat and talk, okay, you see too, blah, blah, blah. But how consistently can you be here? How consistent can you stay studying? How consistent are you going to be when all these trials and tribulations come upon you? That's how you know you've been. Matter of fact,
let me get this this other parable that precepts with this, because pretty much where it says the king to the servant, the king told the servants to basically bind him, like take hold of him and cast him into outer darkness where it be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Yeah. You also read in the parable talking about the wheats and tares, also that the angels, the Lord's going to have the angels sift who's worthy and who's not. Now, the going into the wheats and tares is symbolic, and it's also literal, because the tares spiritually are the unwanted Israelites, the one that was bidden but they wasn't chosen. Those are the tares that the Lord basically gonna basically sift them out.
Can I say, bro?
Purge them out.
Those are spiritual tares.
Right.
Because there's also the tares that's not of the nation but look like of the nation.
Right.
Of the flesh.
That's right. So I'm gonna go into the this one, Matthew 13, verse 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also.
But what did he have to do? He had to fall back and wait till it exposed himself. The good exposed themselves and the bad exposed themselves. That blade is like the blade of grass or the little bitty small plant that's starting to come up barely before it even blossoms. You can see where it's going to be, so you can see what it's doing. But you have to give it that time, because some of them may be all like we were saying about the bad fish that's swimming with catfish, but he's a clean fish. You got to get that fish a chance to clean himself off. To see if he can get his garment creased up.
It says, but when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit.
That's a lot. And a lot of times, you can't know that it is true until a man has been tried and tested and proven his faith. Whether in his personal life or whether in front or amongst brethren or whatever.
Right. And it says, so the servant of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have it tares? He said unto them, an enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? Going back to binding, the king said to his servants, bind them hand and foot, and take them away and cast them in the outer darkness, right? Then it says, but he said, nay, lest while ye gather, it's a lot.
Picking up some of the wrong goodness.
While ye gather, it's a lot. Up the tares, you root up also the wheat with them.
You know, you want to make sure that your wheat that you got planted has a strong foundation before you start uprooting anything. You know, anything, because they may, and just to make the analogy back into reality of this truth, sometimes somebody, you go out there, you got to let your tares grow up with your wheat, so your wheat can learn not to be a tare, so to speak, so they can learn from their mistakes, and then when they get rooted up and out, we had examples also of what not to be or what not to do. Same thing here. Let's make sure that that's a tear. We can easily root them up, no problem, because they're not deeply rooted when you go into the parable of the sower. It's the parable of the sower, right? And then the strong that had a good foundation, that good deep root, it's going to remain. But you have to allow that deep root to take hold of them. You know?
Verse 30. Let both grow together unto the harvest, and in the time of harvest, which means the time of gathering, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them.
To burn them, that's that outer darkness.
But gather the wheat into my barn.
But gather the wheat and put it up safely, out of harm's way. And that goes also when you come out to the ocean to fish, or to the lake or whatever to fish, you can't be like, oh, this corner over here has only trout, and the side over there only has catfish. No, that's everything in that ocean. You gotta just get as many as you can, and then once you got that net securely on your boat, then you start plucking out, throwing back the bad fish. You know, that's how you gotta do it. You gotta wait. You can't just do it immediately. Oh, shit. You know, and if certain fish ain't been tried, like what fish is in it that you don't know of, and you can't be like, oh, that one's orange, I gotta throw that out. You don't know. It might have scales and fins. It might be clean. You know, you don't know what it looks like. You gotta go with that.
That's right. Back in Matthew 22.
You gotta wait. To wait and have a better patience with your judgment.
Matthew 22 and 14. For many are called, but few are chosen.
For many are called, you gather in a lot, but we only want the particular ones that's meant to be here. Many are called, but few are chosen. You know, you can't choose who you do and you don't want. That's not our job. That's the King's job. That's the Heavenly Father's job. He only gave us the job to go get them. Just go get everybody. And I'll sift them out. I'll choose the ones I want to go get. I'll let you know that that's a tear and that's a wheat.
14. Start at 15. Luke chapter 14, verse 15. And when one of them that sat at meat with him heard these things, he said unto him, blessed is he that shall eat bread in the kingdom of the Most High.
Blessed is he who shall eat bread in the kingdom of the Most High.
Then said he unto him, a certain man made a great supper and bade many.
A certain man made a great supper and bade many that were bidden to come and have dinner with him. Right? And that goes back, this is a similar parable to the last one. Go ahead. You have some references?
Revelation chapter 19, verse 9. I'm going to start at 8. And we start at 7. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. And our wife is talking about Israel, the elect, right? And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints.
Right.
And he said unto
wedding garment.
And he said unto me, right, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said unto me, These are the true sayings of the Most High Yahweh.
Right. That explains what we're reading, like verbatim now anyway. That's pretty much self-explanatory of what the parable we're reading.
Back in Luke chapter 14, verse 17. And he sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidden, come, for all things are now ready. It's basically reiterating what was said in Matthew the 22nd chapter.
Right. Like the wedding feast. Wedding.
Verse 18. And they all with one consent began to make excuse, the ones that weren't worthy to be bidden.
Right.
The first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground, and I must needs go and see it. I pray thee have me excused.
Have an excuse, please. Have an excuse. Let me go.
And these are lame excuses, man.
Yeah.
And another,
Because there's no, this is talking about your salvation, the kingdom of heaven. What excuse could you have to not want to have salvation?
and another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee have me excused. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. So the servant came and showed his lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry,
Master of the house is the Most High, once again.
that's right, that king, right?
King, yep.
Said to his servant, go out quickly unto the streets and lanes of the city, and bring hither the poor, and the maimed, and the halt, and the blind.
Hey, we want some fucked up ass people, right? To say it rudely. We want the ones that should be in here ain't coming in. They don't want to make excuse. They ain't worthy to be in here. We need go get the fucked up people. Let's go get the people that's all messed up that don't look like they deserve to be in here. We're gonna go get them.
That's also going into how when the Lord showed that vision to Peter about the uncleanness of Israel, and they was looking at Cornelius funny.
Right.
That goes back to that as well.
Exactly.
You know, so don't go to just the Jews. Go to the Israelite foreigners that are acting in the manner of the heathens, but
Don't go to the heathen.
don't go to the actual heathen, but go to the Israelite foreigners, man.
Right.
You know. So that this cuts you carnal-minded men among you other Israelite groups that say that because a person comes up with the appearance of a heathen, that he can't be bidden in because of his appearance. That's you being carnal and not understanding that the Lord said bend as much to the marriage, man.
And bring in those halt
and they're gonna be blind, remote. They different spirits and even different appearances, man.
Right.
According to the flesh.
To the different. That's an analogy. That halt, maimed, blind, sick, and all of that. That's an analogy to those that don't look like they.
And how are we bidding them? We're building them with the bait, which is this word.
Right.
We know that a heathen is not going to be able to grasp with this. Right. So a heathen is not going to be able to be bidden.
Right.
They're not going to even want to go near the bait.
Right.
You know? It says, what was I? Verse 21. So the servant came and showed his lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant.
Said to his servant, go ahead. That's the heavenly Father talking to the servant, telling him to do what? Go ahead.
Go out quickly unto the streets and lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor, and the maimed, and the halt, and the blind.
The poor in spirit, the halt, what's it halt?
The maimed.
The maimed, I forgot what the word maimed means.
And the halt, and the blind.
But these are spiritual deficiencies that he's naming. It's not necessarily the physical deficiencies, it's the spiritual deficiencies that people take on. Yep. The maimed, the blind, they're not able to see the word. The maimed, I think is you can't talk or something. I don't remember. I should look it up. Keep going.
Hey, if you think about it, before we came to the truth, we were those blind ones, man. But how do we get bitten? We was this fish that swam to that bait. We saw something in that bait, like I think I should come towards that bait. And we grabbed hold on it, and next thing you know, we got pulled out of that water, man. You know?
I got it. Maimed, to mutilate, disabled, crippled to impaired.
I wasn't sure.
Yep.
This is on the Riverside Webster 2 New Riverside Population Area.
Yep.
Yeah. So those that ain't right, call them in too. I'll decide if they right or not. Matter of fact, hold that. While we're talking about disabled people, hold that, go to Matthew 9 and 9. Well, it was at the beginning of the 15th chapter.
Right.
But go to Matthew the 9th chapter. Let's go there.